Ms. Qafarova, Speaker of the Milli Meclis from Azerbaijan.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am well delighted to be here with you and to be part of these significant discussions. The topic chosen for our gathering today offers a great opportunity for us to have a comprehensive exchange of views on democracies in Europe while facing various crises. During the almost 2 years, the world has been combating one of the most dangerous pandemics in its entire history. I do believe we need more than ever to put our efforts together to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Never ever throughout history there has been such a deep necessity towards cooperation among states. Despite huge scientific advances in the development of treatment techniques, including vaccines, the pandemic continues unabated, with about 5 million confirmed deaths caused by the coronavirus. This pandemic has led to further deepening of poverty in the world and pushed the most vulnerable parts of society even further behind. The COVID-19 caused a multifaceted crisis that made states more fragile and eroded international cooperation, thus undermining the crucial role of multilateralism. On the other hand, we are gravely alarmed that the further impact of the crisis will reverse hard-won development achievements in those countries and impede progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Dear participants, since the early days of the pandemic outbreak in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers as an immediate crisis response was established by the presidential decree, and quarantine was instituted in the whole territory of the country. Lessons and lectures were put on hold at the educational institutions. Large trade outlets, as well as sporting and entertainment grounds, were halted. Public catering establishments had their working practice changed and other necessary provisions were made, all in keeping with the recommendation of the World Health Organization. Dear colleagues, it should be mentioned that Azerbaijan Republic contributed across the board to the international effort to fight the coronavirus pandemic. Our country has provided humanitarian and financial assistance to more than 30 countries. More than 150,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been donated by Azerbaijan to 4 countries. At the summit meeting of the Non-Aligned Movement Contact Group in response to COVID-19 in May 2020, the President of Azerbaijan, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, proposed on behalf of the Non-Aligned Movement that the United Nations General Assembly should call a special session dedicated to the anti-pandemic struggle. That it was supported by more than 150 states, and subsequently the United Nations General Assembly special session on the coronavirus disease took place in New York in December last year. Dear participants, I hope you will agree with me that the so-called vaccine nationalism in times of global health crisis is worrisome. I think we, members of the Council of Europe, should try to prevent the conduct of some countries that stock up far more vaccines than their actual needs. According to international reports, while more than 75% of the world's vaccine doses have been purchased by few wealthy countries, the vaccine coverage in low-income countries is less than 2%. No doubt, such an attitude hinders the ability of developing and least developed countries to protect their populations. With a view to addressing the very problem, Azerbaijan, on behalf of the Non-Aligned Movement, initiated a resolution in the United Nations Human Rights Council on having equitable, universal access to vaccines for all countries, which was unanimously approved this March. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we should use every occasion to urge developed countries, including international donor organizations, to provide assistance to the countries which need it in tackling the pandemic. My country, Azerbaijan, considers it reasonable for the Non-Aligned Movement to advocate for the establishing a United Nations high-level panel on global recovery, which could produce recommendations on global measures to have the world recover better and faster from the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude my remarks by wishing all our countries, all our nations peace, progress and prosperity. Thank you for your attention.